Welcome back to the Lightning Bolt Chronicles. If it's your first time here, welcome. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Christina McCrary on Facebook, aka Christina McCrazy on TikTok and Instagram. I have, in addition to this podcast, 2 other podcasts. So if you want to find all things McCrazy, just go to msha.ke/Christina McCrazy and you'll find everything. All 3 podcasts, merch, my Canvas Rebel interview, guest interviews, all of those good things. In the meantime, I would like my co-host to introduce herself. Hey, bestie.
Hi. Hello, magical friends. I am Poodle Noodle 82 on Instagram, and I think I have Facebook and some other stuff. I don't know. I think it's all like there. I don't really do that much, but that's me. I'm a Hufflepuff, and yeah, we love magic.
Woo woo. All right, so wait, Erica, do you have fun things to show the people?
I do. Somebody was very, very kind. A friend of mine gifted me a couple of things, and so I've talked about it before, and actually, no, maybe we haven't talked about the Tully's merch on the podcast, but the company Tully's Coffee, we have several branches here in Japan, and they do a Harry Potter collab every now and then. And some of their merch is super adorable. And Crookshank's merch is very rare and hard to come by, but they just so happened to come up with this mug. And look at little Crookshanks just hanging out there on the handle. It's a Hermione mug, and on the back it says Harry Potter and Tully's Coffee. So this is one of them. Yeah, it's super cute. I do not think that I will be using this mug as an actual mug, however, because Crookshanks is a little bit too precious, I think, and maybe
I was just going to ask about that. I was going to say you can't put it in a dishwasher. You couldn't it feels like Crookshanks might come off of there a little easy if he's bumped just right.
Right, exactly. So I will still be using the mug. However, I'll probably be using it as a display of some kind. So either if you're curious as to how you can possibly use mugs, you can put something that's just low below the lip where you can't see it. So there's height, and then you can stand something on it. So I think I might use it like that. Or you can always put your wands in it. I was also gifted the Hedwig mug.
Oh, Hedwig!
This one has Harry flying over the castle, and it's also a winter theme. Both of these are winter themed, so they have little snowflakes on them and whatnot. But yeah, Hedwig looks super, super cute, perched there. And one more thing, an adorable poster, which I will have to find a way to display. I can't really hold it up by myself, but it's a Herbology poster, and it's got mandrakes and a couple of other things. It's super cute. So I think once I frame it and find a way to display it, I'll be able to show it to you guys again.
Awesome.
Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for the lovely and thoughtful gifts. I appreciate it.
Okay. That said, so we have listened to, received, and input your feedback and other feedback. And in order to, we did have a little bit of structure and a couple of bullet points in our Chronicle portion of the show, but we're going to break it down a little more distinctly so that we can do smaller clips, because that's what the people who do watch asked us to do. So this coming week, look for more clips and reels than usual, because we'll be breaking out 3 more segments. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and go into the chapter summary and new characters segment. And is it my week to do that? It is. It's my week to do the chapter summary. Okay. So, first things first, the only new character in this chapter we discussed is the troll. And let's see, when they meet the troll, let's see. It was a horrible sight. 12 feet tall, its skin was a dull granite gray, its great lumpy body like a boulder, with its small bald head perched on top like a coconut. It had short legs, thick as tree trunks, with flat, horny feet. The smell coming from it was incredible. It was holding a huge wooden club, which dragged along the floor because its arms were so long. That's the only new character in this chapter. All right. So this is chapter 10. The title is Halloween. And the funny part about that is that the only thing related to Halloween in this chapter is that what happens on Halloween, because it just happens to be Halloween that day. Okay. Also, some significance. Halloween is a significant date. Why is Halloween a significant date, Erica?
Halloween? Something happened on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Something important happened on Halloween. That was like the attack. Harry's parents, unfortunately, passed away on Halloween. That was
1981.
That was the attack on the Potter family.
And that is the significance of Halloween in the Harry Potter world. It's a big friggin' deal. It was the day that the Wizarding War ended because he who must not be named went away after. So, yeah. Okay. So, let's see. How does this one start? Okay. So, they're at breakfast and Harry gets a package. And the note on the package says, hey, don't open the package at the table. And they go, and Ron and Harry go and start running up the stairs to go to the dormitory. But, Draco blocks them on the stairs and snatches the package and is like, that's a broomstick. You're in trouble now. First years can't have broomsticks. Can I just side note? This is the second time Draco's entitled behind has walked up and snatched something that does not belong to him out of the owner's hand, because he did the same thing with Neville's Remembrall. He didn't grab it off the table. He snatched it directly out of his hand. Draco's a douche. Okay, moving on. So they stop on the stairs and Draco's talking crap because, and then Ron, being the friend that he is, jumps in and he's like, yeah, well, it's a Nimbus 2000. What did you say you had at home, you little piece of junk? And then, of course, Draco being Draco, he's like, whatever, your family can't even afford brooms. You probably got to buy them twig by twig. And then Professor Flitwick comes running out and he's like, boys, you're not arguing, are you? And Draco's like, Professor Flitwick, Harry has a broom. And Professor Flitwick's like, oh, yes. Professor McGonagall told me about the special circumstances. Yeah. Hey, Harry, what kind of broom is it? And Harry's like, oh, it's a Nimbus 2000, Professor, trying not to laugh because Draco's over here, horror on his face, like, wait a minute, what the heck? Anywho, and then, of course, Hermione. And then Hermione comes by and she makes some snarky comment. And Ron's like, I thought you weren't talking to us. Don't stop now. It was working out good for us. Anyway, so they go throughout their day and then he goes and checks out his broom and he gets to go down that evening and have his first practice with Oliver Wood. And this is where we learn about the game of Quidditch. So, having never heard about the game before, Oliver has to explain to Harry what the game is and what his position is going to be. And so he brings out this trunk, and in the trunk, there are 4 balls. He pulls out the red ball the size of about the size of a soccer ball, and he tells Harry, "This is the quaffle." He's like, "Every team has 3 chasers. The 3 chasers play with this ball and try to get them to those goals at the end of the field." Now, the goals at the end of the field, for you muggles out there, the goals look like the stick that little kids use to blow bubbles with, like straight with the little loop on top. Or, let's make it a little more updated for the kids that are out there nowadays. It looks like a, what's it called? The light, a ring light. It looks like a ring light, right? But it's 50 feet tall. And so the chasers try to get the ball into the hole. You get 10 points every time you get it in there. Each team has a keeper. The keeper is guarding the posts. And Harry's like, all right. And so Wood's like, you got that? And Harry's like, yeah, kind of like basketball, except on broomsticks, right? And Wood's like, what's basketball? Harry's like, yeah, never mind. Got it. So Harry's like, yeah, never mind. Okay, so the chasers try to get the balls through the goals. The keeper guards the goal. Got it. So then why all the rest of the balls and the players? And then Wood's like, all right. So he puts the quaffle away and he pulls out one of the bludgers, which is a jet black ball, a little smaller than the quaffle. And he's like, all right, this is a bludger. And he hands Harry a bat and he goes, this is a beater's bat. Watch this. And he lets, hey, a little tiny beater's bat. And he lets the ball go. Bludger! And then the ball like pelts up and then comes directly for Harry's face. And so Harry uses the beater bat to swat it away. And then when it comes back, it comes for Oliver Wood, and he jumps on top of it and puts it back in the trunk. And he's like, all right, so that's a bludger. Our beaters have beaters bats. There's 2 beaters per team. The beaters try to keep the bludgers away from our players and put them toward the other players. And Harry's like, have the bludgers ever killed anybody before? And Wood's like, not at Hogwarts. And he's like, plus, our beaters are Fred and George Weasley, and they're like a pair of human bludgers themselves. They're pretty good at being beaters. Okay. Yeah. So then he's like, all right, so now the Seeker. He's like, the Seeker doesn't worry about the quaffle, the bludgers, or anything else. The Seeker catches this little teeny tiny gold ball with little wings on it. This is called the Golden Snitch. He's like, so he goes, this is the most important thing because the game doesn't end until one of the Seekers catches the snitch, and you need to be dodging in and out of all the gameplay trying to catch the snitch before the other team's Seeker catches the snitch. And whoever's team catches the snitch gets an extra 150 points. So most of the time they win the game. And Harry's like, all right, got it. So now he's up on all the rules. And then Wood's like, all right, come on. I don't want to use the golden snitch because I don't want to lose it, but we're going to practice. And so they go up in the air with a box of golf balls, and Wood's throwing golf balls every which way. And Harry catches every single one of them until it gets dark. And Wood's like super excited because, woohoo, Harry's really good at it and all this stuff. Okay, boom, done. Great. Harry's ready for Quidditch now. Okay. So then the next day they get up. It's Halloween.
But remember what he told him about the longest game?
Oh, yeah. And then he was, because the game doesn't end until the Seeker catches the snitch. So the longest game on record is 3 months, and they had to keep sending substitutes in so that the players could get some sleep. So
right now, I thought it would be the perfect time, I'm sorry, to show you very quickly one thing. Japan right now has the little, this is the set. It's a little, so like a little treasure box. Yeah.
It's about the size of my Newt Scamander suitcase.
Yeah. And the set of Nimbus 2000.
Yay.
Harry got, and it actually says Nimbus 2000 on the
broom handle.
Yeah, on the broom handle, just like it would. Then you've got the Nimbus 2001, which we will learn about later. It's actually black. And then you also have the Firebolt,
which you'll learn about later.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're in Japan, go to the little gachas and you can maybe try to find them.
Okay, so they get up the next morning. It's Halloween. They smell pumpkin baking down in the kitchen, whatever. They go through their day. They go to Charms class, Flitwick's class, and they're going to work in pairs to finally learn how to make things fly. And they're super excited because they've been waiting for this ever since they saw Professor Flitwick make Trevor's toad move across the classroom, right? Okay, so swish and flick, you're going to make your feather levitate and fly. The spell is Wingardium Leviosa. Okay, he pairs them up in teams. Harry gets paired up with Seamus. He's like, whew, because he saw Neville trying to catch his eye and he didn't want to be paired up with Neville. Although I don't know that being paired up with Seamus was too much better, because at one point Seamus got frustrated, poked the feather with his wand, and it caught on fire. So, and Harry had to put it out with his hat. So, yeah, whatever, pros and cons. But the kicker here is Ron and Hermione get teamed up together. Now, Ron is pissed. And so Hermione, being the bossy know-it-all that she is continuing to tell him. And this is one of her, iconic lines in the movie. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa, or, whichever. Anyway, so Ron tells her, well, you do it then if you know it so well, whatever. And she rolls up her sleeves. And of course, being Hermione, she does it on the first try. And then Professor Flitwick sees and is like, oh my goodness, everyone, look at Hermione Granger. She's done it, class. Oh! And so when they leave class, Ron's like super pissed.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's such a know-it-all and she's so annoying and whatever. And she bumps past them and she's crying and she goes, and Harry's like, I think she was crying. And Ron's like, well, she has to know she doesn't have any friends. Sorry, that's so Ron. But so she ends up going. I'm sorry, because their relationship right now is so hilarious to me, because they're 11 and they're a boy and a girl, and like Hermione, I think it's because Hermione's so much like Percy and has a little bit of Mrs. Weasley in her that Ron's just like, dude, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. So she runs off to the bathroom and they don't see her for the rest of the afternoon. And then when they're on their way to dinner for the Halloween feast in the Great Hall, they overhear Parvati Patil telling Lavender Brown that Hermione's in the girls' bathroom crying, has been all afternoon, and wants to be left alone. And Ron and Harry overhear this, and for a split second they feel bad, but then they see the feast and it goes out of their mind and they're just off to do their thing. So then everybody's at the Halloween feast and they're having a great time. They're in the Great Hall, and then all of a sudden Professor Quirrell comes running in. Troll! Troll in the dungeons! And so everybody starts freaking out. And then Dumbledore silences everybody and then orders, prefects, get your students back to their houses. And it says Percy's exactly in his element. And Percy's like, all right, follow me, first year, stick together. And if you listen to me, you won't need to worry about anything. Come on, I'm a prefect. And so they're headed back to class. Back to the dormitory. So as they're headed back to the dormitories, Harry and Ron are talking, and then all of a sudden, as they're passing people in the hallways and stuff, Harry grabs Ron and he's like, hey, what about Hermione? And Ron's like, ugh. And then he's like, all right, but Percy better not see us. So they sneak out of the group and they go down and they're headed to the girls' bathroom. And that's when first they smell it, then they hear it, and then they see the troll. As they're watching the troll opens a door, peeks inside, and goes in. There happens to be a key in the door. So they're like, oh, this is great. So they run over and they turn the key. And then they're running away to go back and join their classes. And all of a sudden they hear a petrified scream. Ah, crap. The room they just locked the troll in happens to be the girls' bathroom, where Hermione has been crying all afternoon. So now they're like, oh, crap. So they're like, well, this is our fault. We got to go fix it. And so they run over and they unlock the door and they go inside, and the troll's like closing in on Hermione, and she's like frozen in fear against the wall. And so they come in and Harry throws something at the troll to get its attention, and it turns around and it sees Harry and it goes for Harry. And then, oh my goodness. Anyway, so they're fighting this troll, and Harry jumps up on the troll's back and accidentally shoves his wand up the troll's nose, and Ron pulls out his wand, and he doesn't know what to do. So the first spell that comes to mind is Wingardium Leviosa, which he does, and then the troll's club goes up in the air and then falls on the troll's head, and then the troll falls down, and boom, they have knocked out the troll. And then Harry pulls his wand out of the troll's nose, and there's troll boogers all over it. And then, So then Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape and Professor Quirrell come running in, and they look at the troll and they look at the kids, and they're like, what the hell? I mean, not like that, but I mean, right? And so Ron and Harry are like, uh-oh, we're in big trouble now. And then all of a sudden Hermione's like, hey, so like I went looking for the troll because I thought I could handle it by myself because, you know, I read books and stuff. And then these guys came to find me because if they hadn't come, I'd be dead already. And the troll had already been almost done with me by the time they got here. So they didn't have time to go get help. And Ron and Harry are like, who the hell is this person? But trying to look like they don't not know what's being, you know, going on or whatever. So then Professor McGonagall's like, oh, okay, well, Hermione, I'm so surprised at you. You usually follow the rules and blah, 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 blah. And she takes 5 points from Gryffindor, but then she gives Harry and Ron 5 points each. And she's like, it's not all first years who could take on a fully grown mountain troll. And so he sends Harry and Hermione back to the dorms, and they're dealing with, Harry and Ron, and they're dealing with Hermione because she is going to be in trouble now a little bit because, you know, she went after the troll supposedly, right? But then after that, they become friends because, like, how do you take on a mountain troll together and save each other's lives and, like, not become friends?
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the chapter.
This is where the trio becomes a trio.
This is where they become friends with Hermione, which, great decision. They'll find out later on. So that's the chapter summary and new characters, which brings us to our next segment. That was the chapter summary, meaning the book. So now we're going to talk about the book versus the movie. I'm trying to think. I know that in the movie, I believe he did open the broom right there at the table. Possibly even he came to the table and Ron had already opened it.
No, that was for another one in the future.
Oh, got it. Yeah, so I don't know how much was different this one versus
they never locked the troll in the bathroom in the movie. In the movie, the troll just walked into the bathroom and the boys walked in after the troll.
Oh yeah, they were like, oh no, he just went into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then they followed him in. And Hermione wasn't frozen in the movie. She was able to, because like at one point in the book, Harry says, come on, and tries to get her, but it says she can't move and she's frozen in terror against the wall. But in the movie, she's like crawling under the sinks and trying to get away, like actively trying to like.
And she's also guiding Ron and trying to give him a little bit of confidence in the swish and flick. When he's trying to do the spell.
Yeah, because Harry's on the troll's back, and he's like, Ron, do something, and Ron's like, what? And Harry's like, I don't know anything. And Hermione's like, swish and flick.
And also they do the boys. Oliver Wood and Harry, when they're chatting about all of the Quidditch stuff in that scene, I don't really think we even get to see Harry practice because Harry helps Oliver take the trunk out, the trunk of balls. He helps him take it out. He doesn't really practice. He doesn't fly on his broom very much. It's just...
We definitely don't see the golf balls.
It's just getting the summary of like the gist of what Quidditch is, and they do take the snitch out, and then the snitch kind of flies around them a little bit, and then they put it away. Like it's not really the same at all.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember if Quirrell faints in the book, because in the movie he comes in and he goes, "Troll in the dungeon," and then he just falls into a heap on the floor.
Yeah, well, they're not specific about whether or not he fainted in a sense, but yeah, you can see him faint in the movie.
Okay. And then as they're running up there in the book, they see Snape. I think in the movie they don't see Snape going to the third floor corridor in the movie. They do in the book because he says he's going to the third floor corridor. But in the movie, they don't see him going. When he comes in with Professor McGonagall and Professor Quirrell, his pants are ripped and he's got a bloody scratch on his leg. And that's when they figure he must have gone to the third floor corridor and that three-headed dog must have scratched him.
And then in the book, do you remember if they saw Snape's leg scratched up?
No, it didn't say anything about that.
Right? That wasn't.
And what I thought was weird was in the book, when they were going down to the girls' bathroom to rescue Hermione, they saw Snape heading toward the third floor corridor. But when they were done beating up the troll and the teachers came in, Snape was in there with McGonagall and Quirrell like he had been there the whole time. That was pretty quick, no?
Well, maybe he just went to like look to see if anybody had gone that way or not.
Maybe. And maybe that's why he wasn't scratched.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Anything else, book versus movie?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. That brings us to our next segment. All right. What is your takeaway from chapter 10, book 1, Halloween?
I just wrote, and then there were 3.
Exactly.
This is it. This is like you can't battle a troll together and not come out being homies afterwards, you know? Like there are certain things that kind of bond you. It's, you know, it's like trauma bonding and all this other stuff, right? Like
but also
go through, yes,
loyalty and having people's back.
I mean, the fact that Hermione, being who she is, just straight up lied, like bold-faced lied to the teachers and was like, I thought I could take the troll on. And so, you know, that's what I did. But Ron and Harry saved me. That was taking one for the team right there.
It was. But you know what else? I was thinking about it as I was reading the chapter again a couple hours ago before we came on. Mm-hmm. In reality, they didn't do anything wrong. They went to tell Hermione, come on, there's a troll on the loose. And when they got there, the troll was there and they ended up fighting the troll. So in reality, right. So like, they didn't really do anything wrong. They knew Hermione was in the bathroom, so they went to go get her on the way to the dorms.
Yeah, because nobody else, all those other kids that knew she was in the bathroom didn't go looking for her.
Right. So like,
and you know, everybody else who was talking about it, Neville and
they knew she was in the bathroom because they overheard Parvati and Lavender talking about it. So Parvati and Lavender also knew she was in the bathroom, but they were like, whatever, we're supposed to go to the dorms. Okay, bye. Like, they didn't essentially do anything wrong. They went to go tell her because they were the ones who knew she was in there to come to the dormitory because there was a troll loose. And then they met the friggin' troll.
Yeah.
But again, her lying for them immediately cemented, like, dude, I'm cool people. You want me on your team.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
I
that
can
was
use
really
that
cool.
as a foreshadow, the number of times that they need to be grateful that Hermione was there, because she's
Oh,
the smartest of all three of them.
oh, oh yeah. I mean, I think all three of them, as we read the books, all three of them bring something different to the trio, to the mix, and each one of them have their own qualities, right? Their own things that make them unique and important to the trio, and kind of balance it out. Does that make
And
sense?
it's also interesting to look at each of them and their backgrounds. So, like,
Exactly.
Ron's a pureblood wizard, grew up in the wizarding world, knows all the, what it's like to grow up in the wizarding world. Hermione
Yeah.
is a full-blown muggle, grew up in the muggle world, but knew about magic and had parents who were accepting and all that, so was able to, like, study and learn and be intrigued and be excited about going to Hogwarts and all of that, even as a living in the muggle world. And then you have
Right.
Harry, who knew nothing, didn't even know the world existed, and comes
Nothing.
in as the most famous person in the wizarding world with absolutely no knowledge of the wizarding world. So
No,
it's great, the diversity in the group.
well, DNA wise, like, he's got some power. He's
Yeah,
got some very strong abilities.
right. And then the fact that Ron's pure blood, Harry's half blood, and Hermione is muggle born. So, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, all together, they have everything.
What's your takeaway?
It was the same thing. Like, I've just watched throughout the last few chapters. I've loved watching their relationship kind of come together.
Yep.
Just us as fans, and having been as deep in and having read them so many times and knowing the movies and the books and all of that and how their relationships play out and everything that they go through together. It's fun to go back to the beginning and look at when they were literally 11 years old and couldn't
Yeah.
stand each other.
Right.
And
Just watch
just,
it develop.
yeah. And then, like, literally the Weasley trait of all Weasley traits, the sarcasm, watching Ron being like, dude. Because I still giggle every time I think about her being like, excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing, and Ron being like, bet you could. It makes me laugh every time. So
that's why Ron is one of my favorite, well, if not my favorite character, because his little one-liners are just so good.
And it's hilarious because there's, like, a definite break in the Weasley children. So you've got, like, Bill and Charlie, who are grown up. They did everything they were supposed to do. They've got good, responsible jobs. They're being good, responsible adult wizards, right? Then you've got Percy, who's Mr. Perfection and Mr. I'm a prefect and wants to go work at the ministry and all that. And then when Fred and George came along, everything went sideways. Because we know Fred and George are, what it would say, a pair of human bludgers. Then you get Ron after that. So that's where his one-liners and all that come from. He followed the twins, bro. And they're only, like, what, 2 years apart? So, yeah. And then you got Ginny, the baby girl with 6 older brothers, who comes in after the Weasley twins and Ron. And if you watch all of it all together, the brothers that she's closest to are Fred and George. So the younger Weasley kids are a mischievous group.
Yeah.
Sorry, super quick. 2 things. In the book, Wood says he's very pleased after they're practicing and stuff. And he says, I wouldn't be surprised if you're as good as Charlie Weasley. And he could have gone on to play for England if he hadn't gone off chasing dragons, right? I was watching, so there's Oh, there's a podcast that I watch on YouTube that does like compilations and stuff like that, and will do like the life of one character, and we'll go through and pull all of the information from the books. We'll mention stuff from the movies. We'll talk about the stuff that She Who Must Not Be Named had released afterwards and all of that kind of stuff. And she did one about, or he did one about the Weasley family. And come to find out, the year that Charlie was Seeker, his senior year, was Fred and George's second year there, and they all played together.
Oh,
because
cool.
Fred and George have been the beaters since their second year. Because remember, first years don't usually play, but their second year they became beaters, and they were beaters for the rest of that time. So for 1 year, they played with Charlie.
That's so cool. That's amazing.
So yeah, just an interesting little fact that I learned over the last 2 weeks.
That's
okay.
Great. The Weasley family and Quidditch.
I love the Weasley family. I love them all. Yes. I love it. Okay. You ready?
Is it time to make magic?
It's time to make magic. Okay. Tell us what's up, girl.
Well, it's Quidditch time, baby. And I am not trying to make a broom. I might one day, who knows? Because sometimes on my walks with my dogs, I'm like, oh, that looks like it would be a good stick. But, you know, me and nature, we're just not that good of friends. So one day, maybe, I don't know. But I thought of what better thing to do than to make a snitch. And I will tell you that you can, if you want to make a Ferrero Rocher snitch, you can do that. Those are super easy. The Ferrero Rocher is already gold, and you just get little wings. You can buy them online if you want to make them so easy, or you can cut them. Now, there are some differences between book snitches and movie snitches, in that in the movie, the wings are gold. However, in the book, it says that the wings are silver. Now, when I was making my snitch, I told you that I did not feel the silver wings. I just didn't like the juxtaposition between the gold snitch and the silver wings. However, the more and more I was making it and putting my time and effort into it, and the way that the gold turned out, my wings are silver. I flip-flopped on my own thing. Anyway, let's take a look at the pictures so that we can discuss. So here are some materials. This is not all of the materials, but some of them. I used a ping pong ball as my inside. And then I'm sure we all have a pair of headphones, like old ones, the kind that you split to make longer, and like the wires. So you just use those wires to make like a guide on the ping pong ball, and then some paint and some glue, some plastic adhesive. Let's go on. So there's the plastic adhesive, and then what I did is with a marker, I drew kind of a guide as to where I wanted my lines to be. And then I started cutting the wire and putting it on the guide. It was just a rough guide. And then this is what it started to look like more. And this is the bottom. Now, mind you, you can find a full guide, like a full-on what does a snitch really look like? But what's the fun? I mean, if you want to make it exactly the same, sure. But you can do whatever you want, right? You can make it swirly, flowery, whatever. It's up to you how close to the real thing you want to make it. And then for the, like, not eyeballs per se, but kind of, I used beads. And I also had wire to put in the wings. And then I used my adhesive, my glue, plastic adhesive to put the little beads on. And make sure that the holes are, the holes in the bead are sticking up and a little bit out, because that's where you're going to insert your wings. And then you can see that I put wire on the spine of the wings. So what I did is I basically cut diamonds, and then I put the wire in the middle and then folded it over the wire so that the wire could be kind of like on the edge. Leave a little bit of that wire sticking out because that's what we're going to put in the hole. And the way that you cut the wings is completely up to you. If you look at the next one, that's how I cut them, into really fine lines. And so I would cut a line and then I would cut a really fine piece and pull it out so that there was more space between each wing or each feather or whatever you want to call it. And that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it came out really cute.
Yeah, I can
I'm
show
a
you
little
the real.
scared.
Wah, wah, wah,
Oh, I'm a
I
little
like
bit scared.
So I used the spray paint was what I ended up using. And the cool part about having the wire in the wings is that you can manipulate it to whatever kind of shape you want it to end up looking like. I just folded them out a little bit like this. And actually, if I end up doing it, I'll let you guys know. But I think I'm going to make this into an ornament, a Christmas tree ornament. So what I'm going to do is just take one of those really super tiny screws, the ones with the little hook on the end, and maybe screw it in to the base here. And then have a string on it so that I can add it to the collection. But yeah, I mean, you can literally manipulate the wing because of the wire that's in there. You can shape it out like wide, or you can give it the kind of little S curve that I've done for it here. You can
What kind of paper did you use for the wings?
I used like kind of I don't know.
Like a cardstock?
Kind of. It's a little bit thinner than cardstock. It's still thicker paper, and it already comes silver like this. In Japan, we have this packet from the dollar store that is literally a sheet of gold, a sheet of silver, and a sheet of bronze. And I think 2 sheets of each color come in the package. And literally, I mean, you're only using a little bit. But if you don't have silver paper, you can just use regular paper and use silver paint. That's fine. But the spray paint, the gold spray paint that I used for the actual snitch, I really liked the shine to it and how it matched the silver paper. And that's why I ended up sticking with the silver wings. So yeah, I'll let you know. I'll show you guys when I end up putting it as an ornament. I'm going to try to do that next. Yeah, it was super easy. I would say that it probably took no more than like 2 hours in total. Because you've got to let stuff dry. So it's going to take longer than that. But you can just work on it, set out to put the little wires on and everything, let it dry, then come back, spray paint it, let it dry. And then while you let it dry, you can make the wings. And that's it.
Okay. I'm going to see if my Daiso has... I'm going to see if my Daiso has the paper
I put a
when I
little bit
go
of
back
glue
again.
in the bead and outside the bead so that you can stick the wing on there and it's not going to like flop over like a dog ear, right?
Okay.
You want to put a little bit of glue in there to secure the metal. But
All right.
yeah.
I got to see if my Daiso has the paper, and if not, then I'll go another route. But I got my golf balls already when I picked up the stuff for the Remembrall, so we'll see what happens. Yep,
You got ping pong balls?
I got ping pong balls.
Okay, you said golf balls.
Oh, dang it. No, golf balls are what they practice with. Ping pong balls are what I got.
Set.
All right. We'll see what happens. All right.
Did you make your craft, your Remembrall?
I did. And by the time this episode drops, they will have seen it already. But at the time that we are recording, I have not completed it, but I am working on it.
Okay. Then I am going to anxiously just wait for the clip to come out.
Okay. All right. Time for our very last segment of the episode. You ready?
Yes. I'm ready.
Hallows or Horcruxes? All right. This week's Would You Rather.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the last 2 chapters in this of this book, would you rather be locked in with a troll or a 3-headed dog?
Based on what we know right now, this second, right? I think we have to preface that. So based on the information that we have now about both of those characters, I'm going to go with the troll. I know the troll is stinky, and I know the troll is big and beastly. However, it does not have 3 highly aggressive mouths that can chew me up, you know? It does not have 6 sets of incisors that can rip the meat off of my bones and probably smash my bones up like little crackers. I know the troll has a big old club, but I mean, do I get a wand?
I mean, I would assume if you're in a world where you're locked in with one of those creatures, that you would be a wizard and have a wand.
Okay, just double checking. Because if it's just Erica, like plain old Erica,
you're not going to be hanging out on the corner of, PCH and Cherry and a troll comes walking by.
Why is the troll in Long Beach?
Because it was the first 2 streets I could think of.
I love that. best part. The troll.
Where did I grow up, Erica? Where did I grow up?
I know, but the fact that that was your first reference is hilarious.
Okay. So, almost verbatim. Based on what we know now, at this point in time in the story, I would have to go with the troll. And the reason is, same thing as her, that big 3-headed dog got 3 big old heads and 3 big, sets of incisors and all of that. But in addition, the troll is stupid. Literally, not like just not bright. They talk about how trolls are literally stupid, like dumb as rocks. And so I feel like my strong point is my intelligence, and that I would have a better going against the stupid creature than the big giant creature with 3 sets of ginormous teeth.
Yeah.
And very large paws.
Yeah.
So I too would choose the troll. All right. Good episode, bestie.
Yeah. Oh, should I show them what a troll looks like? There's the 3-headed dog and a troll right over
Do you
there.
have them? Yep, bring them up. Show them. Show the people. Show the people.
These were, let me turn myself around in my rocking chair. These were a gift. Well, no, did I purchase them? I think I did. These were acquired by a coworker of mine, and here is the troll.
The troll.
Just look at his ugly face. And you can see his feet.
Yuck.
Gross. His hands.
Now he looks like that, but then they keep talking about how badly he smells.
Yeah.
So, like, ew. Oh, book versus movie. Book versus movie.
Yeah.
That dog is black in the movie.
Yes.
Pure black. 3-headed dog.
Yep.
Actually, those little doggies don't look as intimidating as the movie dog.
Right?
Their teeth don't look as big and menacing as the dogs in the movie.
Well, it's also the size of my hand.
That's true. All right.
Because if you recall correctly, the dog in the movie was also really, really large. And the dog in the book literally took up the entirety of the room it was in.
Yeah, it did. Ew, and it was like slobbering and ew. Gross.
That's
Anywho.
disgusting.
Tell the people where to find you.
Poodle Noodle 82. That's me.
You can find me at Christina McCrary on Facebook, Xtina McCrazy on TikTok and Instagram, or you can find any of my 3 podcasts, my Canvas Rebel interview, my merch, lots of other things, at All Things McCrazy by going to msha.ke/Xtina McCrazy. This is the Lightning Bolt Chronicles. We have a website, thelightningboltchronicles.com. Check it out. And thank you for being here. If it's your first time, welcome and please come back. If you are returning, welcome back and thank you for returning. Yeah.
Join us on Instagram.
Join us on Instagram. And we will see you guys in the next couple of weeks. Have a magical 2 weeks, friends.